Ahoy, shipmates! This is the technical presentation given by the captain and several managers of the Norwegian Aqua. I thought this was too long to include in the video, so I thought I'd leave it here for you and you can watch it at your own time.
To see the video how this magnificent Norwegian Aqua was built, let's enjoy the clip. There you have it. It's like a huge Tetris game that I've ever seen in my life, ladies and gentlemen, building the ship with the blocks. Let's go through some ship facts first. So ship is registered in Nassau, Bahamas, and category of the vessel is, oh, we have somebody from Bahamas? There you go. Prima Plus class. This ship is a little bit bigger than Viva and Prima. Whoever been on the Prima and Viva, notice the difference, am I right? Yes, especially with the spacious, very nice atrium on deck 6, 7, and 8. Gross tonnage 156,000, length is over 1,000 feet, and the hull width is 135 feet. Design draft 27 feet, and the maximum speed is 20.3 knots. We have 5 diesel generators, and we have 20 decks with this one. And the ship was built by Itinerary in Marghera shipyard, which is right across the bridge to Venice. So when we embarked here, we were seeing Venice every single day. And maximum persons on board, we can have it, combining guests and crew, will be 6,035. That is the maximum this ship can have it. So let's have a little trip first to the bridge, ladies and gentlemen. This is how maneuvering panel looks like. This controls the operation of the azipods, tillers, and bow thrusters. So you know it's not the big wheel like you saw in the cartoons. No, it's literally a joystick that they need in order to navigate this vessel. And this is how the cockpit looks like. There are always 2 officers on duty and 1 on lookout all the time in the navigational bridge. And the bridge equipment includes radar, GPS navigators, gyro compasses, magnetic compass, telex with a long-range identification tracking device, knife text for navigational and weather forecast. I just read that. I don't know what that means, but I have people who will know what that means, all right? So not to worry, they will explain you in detail. So that is the main one. However, we have also the side wings, and those ones are, the wings, bridge wings are allowing to parking. Yes, when we are going from the port and we are parking the ship from the port, that is something that actually the officer standing there and they are navigating the ship. It allows captain to look alongside ship as well, pull away from the port. And you can see this little window, so this window is also to perfectly match and align the line between the ship and the pier as well. Now, how we can do that? I mentioned before azipods, and you saw them in the video as well, how huge they are. We have 2 azipods for propulsion and steering control. Using this azipod, we can turn the ship 360. If you ask nicely, Captain, maybe he will do it for you today. Yes, there you go. With 2 fixed pitch propellers with 5 blades each, and this is used instead of rudders to steer the ship. So those are the azipod. What about boat thrusters? Boat thrusters are the ones who help us out to park the ship. It's not like a car that you need to do a little turn to park it. Literally, the ship can go parallel to the pier and then just park it. And that's why we have those boat thrusters. 6 meters is the diameter of those boat thrusters. Now, I think we did such a great, not me, but the captain and his team did such a great team to make sure that we have calm waters, yes, during this entire voyage. It was very nice, and they were working very hard to make sure that they provide you the comfort, and also they were using sometimes those stabilizers. So each one is 7.5 meters long with surface area of 20 square meters. And if you see the model of the ship up on the number 17, you can see how they look like they are under the water. They are 2 wings, so you can have a look as well to compare how big they are, 7.5 meters, and comparing to the ship. And that also helps us to bring stability. And they are, of course, under the water. And speaking under the water, let's go to the engine. Engine control room looks like this. This is also a operation where actually, if the chief engineer is very upset with the captain, he can take control over the bridge, you know. Sometimes they have those fights. And this is how the engine room looks like with all the engines we have it, diesel generators, that's what we have it. Now, you can see it, I cannot say it, yes? So just have a look, we have what the diesel generators are. Big generators have an output of 14.4 each, and the small generators 9.6. So those are down there in the engine spaces. We have 2 evaporators. They produce 500 tons of water per day. We are producing our own water whenever we are at sea. And this water, let me tell you, it's a safer one in the taps than actually the one that you buy in the bottles as well. We do have tests on our water every single day, just making sure that everything is up to the standards. Now, when it comes to Norwegian Cruise Line, we are very dedicated to Sail and Sustain program, and every single department takes part of it. Either it's a hotel, there is deck and engine, and we are very big when it comes to environmental operation. The environmental operation actually has its own officer, or environmental officer, who takes care of all the waste on board and how to manage that waste. We have a couple of machines on board that will help us out, like glass crusher, carbon recycler, plastic recycler, shredder. Many of the waste, we have special contracts with the shoreside teams that we will be offloading, and they will take care of the recycling as well. So it's many different initiatives that we are taking part of just to make sure that we do not leave unnecessary footprint when it comes to the environment. So that was in a nutshell little presentation about the deck and engine department and the Aqua ship at all, but now it's a time you have been waiting all for. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me out and put those hands together, and let's welcome our expert on Norwegian Aqua. Gentlemen, have a seat. Thank you very much for coming. I know you have such a busy day. Before we open the room for the questions, remember I have Gloria and Troy who will be around. Just raise your hand and let us know what is your question and where are you from. But before that, I would like to ask you gentlemen just to tell me and us a little bit more about your journey with Norwegian and a little bit about yourself. We're gonna start with our general manager, Deepak.
Well, good morning everyone, and myself Deepak. I come from India, did my hotel school back in '99, worked in different hotels around the world, worked with different cruise lines, joined Norwegian in 2014 on the beautiful Jade as a food and beverage director, then worked on the Dawn for a very short period, worked on the Sky, looked after the Escape for a couple of years, and then looked after the Encore during the pandemic and a couple of years. Then moved on to the Norwegian Viva for a contract, and now looking after the beautiful Norwegian Aqua with an amazing team. I always say hardware is something which we can make, but it's the software that drives it. So please, our amazing hardworking crew members, 1,597, delivering a great vacation experience to all of you. So please, I hope you are enjoying your cruise, and see you around and about. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Taking care of whole engine and department is our chief engineer, Plamen.
Good morning also from my side. I started my career in 1993 after graduating Naval Academy in my country, Bulgaria, East Europe. And my first 13 years, they were on merchant ships, and last 19 here with the Norwegian Cruise Line. From those 19, last 12 years, I'm chief engineer have been on different class of ships in the company. Very happy to be part of the Norwegian family, really. I'm married with 2 children. I consider myself like a happy married. About my wife, I don't know. You have to ask her. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And in charge of the entire Norwegian Aqua, a master in command, our captain, your captain. Let me hear it for Captain Robert.
Well, a very good morning to all of you. As you know, my name is Robert. I'm from a small town called Malmö in southern Sweden, where I live with my wife and 2 kids. And not to make a too long story of how I ended up here with you today, but I started very early. I was only 16 years old when I went out on my first cargo ship as a deck apprentice, but very quickly got a liking to the life and work of a sailor. So I continued in climbing within the rating on the deck department, on the rating positions. Did some container ships, some tanker ships, and then finally I decided to go into the Merchant Marine Academy in Kalmar, Sweden. Spent 3 years there, got my officer's license, and went back to the cargo ships again. And this might sound like a cliche you heard before, but it's very true. I remember I was working on a very small oil tanker, older than I was at that time, so yeah, very old. I saw this beautiful cruise ship passing by one day, and I had to look at my ship and I had to say, what the heck am I doing on this rust island? So I decided to try my luck with the cruise companies, got my first job at Radisson 7 Seas Cruises, went on to Disney Cruise Line, and in 2006 I started my career here with Norwegian. And I consider myself one of the lucky few, because for a while I was part of the new building team of Norwegian, so I was part of the final construction and the delivery of the Breakaway, Getaway, Escape, Joy, and when Norwegian Bliss came out, I got my first captain's position. I spent 6 years on the Bliss as a captain, and now I got the honor of commissioning this beautiful vessel. Looking forward to your questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for your questions, so please once again raise your hand and tell us your name, where you're from, what is the question. We're going to start here on the starboard side.
Hi, I'm Greg from Atlanta. I was wondering if you can walk us through the process this week of when did you start monitoring the weather, when did you make a decision to change the itinerary, and then what changes did you have to make in preparation for going longer than planned?
Yeah, it started quite early. We saw the low pressure systems forming over the Atlantic, but we also know the North Atlantic this time of the year, it changes very quickly. So we were of course hoping for an improvement in the weather. We were in contact with our office in Miami. We have a few tailor-made weather services that we use, so we were of course in contact with them as well. we tried to find a route that would take us across in the timeline we were given to be in Boston. But I would say, I don't know exactly when the decision was made, but we had a conference call with our corporate office where we decided that going south is the only way to provide a safe and comfortable way over the Atlantic. But we also knew that adding on 700 nautical miles to our journey, we could not make Boston in time. We could not make Boston, period, basically. So initially we were aiming to be in New York on the 6th in the morning, but unfortunately all the piers were taken, so we had to settle for arriving very early on the 7th. Preparations is nothing special, I have to say, more than changing our route, because we already had a full tank of gas and we had food to last us for the crossing. So yeah, and looking now, and I spoke to colleagues who was on the northern part of the Atlantic on cargo ships, they experienced 10 to 12 meter waves, hurricane force winds, and the ice conditions outside Newfoundland would have made it very difficult for us to get through, because there was quite a lot of ice in movement in the bad weather. So I'm happy to say it was the right decision.
And to add on, Captain, on that, 3 more days of free cruising. More at you. That's what we offer, Norwegian.
Thank you very much. We are going all the way at the end on the port side.
Hello, David from North Carolina. Continuing on the vein of weather, I noticed that the program from yesterday and then the one from today said like 41 degrees and 42 degrees for the high. I think we passed that at midnight. So I'm curious how that Navtex system works, or how do you determine what the weather forecast is going to be like during the days? And what resource could we use as passengers when like preparing for packing clothes to know like what's the temperature likely to be actually in the middle of the ocean?
Very good question. Well, if I understood the question, we use several weather services that we monitor 24/7 to see any changes in the weather. To say, I mean, we see how the low pressures are moving. The last forecast we got before leaving Southampton was spot on, because what you felt a few nights into the voyage, and you felt again, I think, yesterday evening, was the tail ends of the low pressure system. So we just skimmed the edge of them, not to add any more distance to our voyage. And yeah, we decided where the point would be when we were 100% safe not to end up in them. We're going to turn north. And it looks like it's pretty accurate still. We will face a little bit of weather coming off the east coast as we approach New York, but we will just have to go through it, and it doesn't look that severe. When it comes to packing clothes for an Atlantic crossing, I would bring everything from Bermuda shorts to Canada Goose jackets.
And we are coming back on the starboard side with Gloria.
Hello, my name is Sam. We live in Massachusetts, near Boston, unfortunately. A couple of questions. First one maybe is simple. Why does our GPS continue to tell us we're in Venice? And secondly, and a little more seriously, we had our window on deck 5 covered for half the cruise. The explanation we got was simply for safety, but it's unclear to me how covering some of the windows on deck 5 promotes the safety of the ship. I mean, is the ship not seaworthy without that?
We just want to keep you dry. Now, how it works is that when we calculate stability on a ship like this and having openings, the closer to the water you have openings in form of windows, you calculate that the danger zones of having a bigger wave than calculated would be either on the bow or on the stern of the ship. So when preparing the ship, the classification company puts up a rule on which cabins, due to their location, needs to have storm shutters. So that's why you didn't see it on all of the deck 5 ones. But all forward cabins had it, all aft cabins had it. The center ones was no need for. They're actually not even provided to the ship when we take delivery. Looking at the weather reports and the swells that were in not our vicinity, but I would say a few hundred miles away, and been sailing over the Atlantic many times, I want to be safer take the safe before the unsafe and leave them on until I with 100% certainty can say that we don't need them, which we did. So that was a decision I took to keep them on. But this got nothing to do with the failure of a ship. It's the simple fact that there can come rogue waves, there can come higher waves than the weather forecast have predicted. And the window is of course weaker than the steel hull. Therefore, as a safety precaution, we put on these storm hatches. And everything on deck 4 is covered, deck 5 forward and aft. And if we really want to, we can also put on deck 6, but we didn't feel the need for that for this crossing. So I hope this answers your question.
Thank you. We are going to the port side, all the way to the side.
Hi, I'm Zach from Plymouth, Massachusetts. My question's for Chief Clement. So I was on the Prima a few years back, and one thing I noticed with the Prima was that on the stern of the ship, you had a lot of soot on there. I haven't noticed that at all on here. So what was the difference to keep it cleaner from the Prima to the Aqua?
I think better Captain to explain, because it's not that much about me, it's about the hull construction.
Yeah, as you might know, there has been a transition period now that the companies are experimenting with the alternate fuels, trying to come to a more environmentally friendly way of doing our business. The Prima, the same as most of our ships, have something called a scrubber system. So we run the ship at sea with heavy fuel oil, but what comes up in the funnel is washed with seawater, so that we can contain all the dangerous particles down below. And what you see is only water vapor coming out. A side product of this is unfortunately that on certain conditions, temperature, humidity could play a role, you get soot coming out from the funnel. This ship is at the moment 100% run by MGO, which is a much cleaner fuel, and we don't get this soot particle, and we don't have a scrubber system on board. So then later on we will develop this further and have biodiesel that we're going to run the ship on. So that is the best explanation I can give you to why you see a cleaner product here.
Thank you. Now we are coming back to the starboard side of the front.
Good afternoon. I'm Jerry from Destin, Florida. I'd like to commend the captain and your crew for your hard decision to take us to the coming across from the Princess, the Sky Princess. We were in 20-foot seas for a while. We were nowhere near the center of what we would have been going through had we gone straight to New York. So the decision was the right one, and we appreciate it. So, thank you very much. My question is about the design of the ship. Whether you call this a plumb bow or an axe bow, and I know you have a kind of a modified Bilboas bow. It seems to me that the waves have a tendency to slap this, whether versus a rake bow that would fold the waves back over with the flare. Am I feeling that correctly, or can you give us some insight on what the differences of the bows are?
I have to say, first of all, my experience of a ship with this bow is not much longer than yours. I'm sorry to say, it's a week longer. But my experiencing of this ship so far in the weather we have seen, I would say she's handling the swells much calmer than you would experience it on a conventional bow. She still cuts the waves, she cuts it nice and neatly out on the sides, but you avoid that big hammering that you would experience on, for example, my previous ship, the Norwegian Bliss, who has the conventional bow. So when you really land it down in a wave, you get much more violent reaction than you were experiencing on this ship. So When it comes to the bulbous bow, it's always been told to us that we have that for a speed increasing effect or a fuel saving effect. But what we see on this ship, which has a more integrated bulbous bow, I don't want to say they were wrong, but it's very interesting to see as well that this is how they built ships in the old days, and now we're going back to it a little bit. So maybe they were onto something from the beginning.
Thank you. We're going first with Troy on the port side.
Hello, my name is Valiant Cox. This is my husband Terry. We are from the Phoenix, Arizona area. By the end of this trip, we can say that we have crossed the Atlantic going east and going west. And we are so excited to be on the Aqua. Our question is, unfortunately, we were sad to hear that a passenger had to be evacuated. And my question is, where do you land a helicopter on the Aqua?
I'm sorry to disappoint you. We cannot land a helicopter on the Norwegian Aqua. We have a winching area up on deck 18, port side, where we basically seal off a big portion of the sun deck or pool deck, and we take away the wires, take away all the obstacles that we have, and that is the area we used the other day outside of the Azores. And yeah, I hope that answered your question. Yeah, thank you.
And we're going right here in the middle at the front.
Good morning. This question is for the general manager. First of all, congratulations on your first revenue-generated voyage.
Thank you. Thank you for being part of this amazing journey.
So this is my first time on the NCL cruise line. What sets NCL apart from the other cruise lines that you would say?
Well, thank you for bringing this up, and everything, I would say from the cruise standpoint to the innovations we do in the industry, from every aspect of cruising, we were the pioneers in the industry for the freestyle cruising from overall, So we are known for it in the industry. And thank you, and that's been very well received all around. I can say from wherever we started, from the sky days to what we have achieved today with the Aqua is a mind-blowing innovations. From the Aqua coaster up there to the go-kart tracks on the Bliss Encores, to the rope courses, coming on to the innovations of the shows, the Broadway shows. You must have seen the Revolution show, the full of energy, every aspect from the restaurants, from the dining, and to the rooms as well. Basically, providing you the best of the comfort at sea and the most innovative product. So product and services is one thing, but the biggest difference I see, and we see as onboard management, is the crew. Our amazing crew working day in, day out for you and delivering a great vacation is what sets us apart from the other industry. Every crew guest, I'm sure this cruise we have 2,200 Latitudes member on board, which talks a lot. That means we are doing something right. All of you coming back and sailing with us, and that's what keeps us going. Your smiles bring smiles on our faces and to the crew. So that that 1,600 hardworking team members delivering a great vacation sets us apart. Plus, our hiring process of the initial stages is also, we have 69 different nationalities working together, making it happen for you. I think if the world learns from us, it will be a better place. So, in a nutshell, this is what, from the initial hiring process to the onboard trainings and the leadership team on board, every head of department is himself imparting those. And we ensure the crew is happy crew, happy guests. Looking after the crew keeps us, that's what sets us apart. So thank you for the question. I hope that answers.
Thank you. We are coming to the port side.
Hello, I'm Jenny from Montreal, Canada. I'm wondering how far can we go with one full tank?
Actually, full tank. With a full tank, we could go anywhere in the world, basically. So we have enough when we arrive at New York to go back to Southampton and maybe halfway back to New York one more time. So we have yeah, about 4,000 metrical tons of fuel on the fuel tanks. So.
And for one direction crossing is about 1,000. That means you have two complete turns.
Okay, let's go back to the starboard side.
Yeah, hi, my name's Larry. I'm from Los Angeles. On the itinerary, it shows arrival in New York, I believe it's 3 a.m. Is that the time we're going to actually have to get up? Because, you know, the last night the cruise and rocket, yeah, I'm already here.
I think that's the time
I won't sleep all night.
I think that's the time I have to get up. I'm pretty sure you can sleep in if you like.
About how long? Because like I said, my alarm.
If you want to see the Statue of Liberty, I recommend it. Otherwise, I think you can have a nice night's sleep and wake up as normal.
And of course, just to touch base on that, Captain, we'll start most probably disembarkation around 6:37. So you will receive all the disembarkation program in your rooms and all the process for luggage and everything. And 6:30, 7 o'clock onwards, we should start kicking in for disembarkation. So you can sleep over, as Captain said.
Okay, right here, port side at the front.
My name is Louis. I'm from San Francisco, California. I'm going to ask you at least 2 tricky questions. The first one is how much or how many data we collect to decide the ship travel with the wind or cross the wind or at an angular position. And second question is how loud is your speaker system? Is that loud enough to repel the pirate if you happen to be close to where the pirate is in Southampton?
I'm really sorry. Can you take it again, please?
Is your speaker loud enough to create the vibration and cause them headache so the pirate will stay off the ship?
I hope so. That was a tricky question. I can't give you that. Yeah, I never got that before. You got me there. But yeah, we'll try and shout at them if they come any close.
How do you decide the ship to go with the wind, cross the wind, or at an angular position when the wind is strong?
It depends a little bit how the wind is not really my biggest concern. It would be the swells and how the swells hit the ship. That would be how I choose how to handle it. But it also it's very different from time to time. But of course, the ship is best to head into the swells. That's when the ship is at its best. I would say the biggest movement of the ship would be if we get the swells in from the stern with a little bit of an angle. That's when she starts rolling at most, so to say. So it depends a little bit what time do I have to play with, how much swells do I have to deal with, and it's a very case-by-case scenario.
Thank you. Let's go on the starboard side of the front.
Hi, my name is Dave. I'm from North Carolina. And I know we're talking about Aqua, but do you have any knowledge of why Luna is not doing the same transatlantic when it's finished?
I honestly haven't even looked at where she's gonna sail. I'm sorry, I cannot answer that.
Okay, let's go to Troy right at the front.
My name is Wolfgang, live in Georgia. Question to the helicopter incident. The person, male, female, whatever, was got transported onto the island of the Azores. Have you heard back from him? Person okay? Person swimming? Whatever.
I don't know if he's swimming, but he's under medical care at the facility in Punta Delgado, and what I understand, his situation is stable, and he will make a full recovery.
We have time for 2 more questions. We're going to start at the back with Gloria on the starboard side.
Hello, I'm Betty from Virginia. My question is, your elevator systems seem to be very sensitive, and I'm wondering how the swells, in a building, it would shut those systems down. So how have you fixed the systems to be able to handle the rocking so that it doesn't shut that system down?
Okay, in the elevator tanks we have bumpers that they are accommodating all these inclines forces. That's why it's very stable, and even with the bigger incline, what we experience now, there is no any problem to use the elevators. Everything is safe.
Thank you. And the last question at the front on the port side.
My name is Bobby. I'm from Florida, and I love Norwegian cruise lines. Been on many, and the ship is beautiful. One issue is seating in these venues. All of the seats are taken, even if I come a half hour early. And sometimes they'll bring in folding chairs, and sometimes they won't. And could you do anything to make sure that they bring in folding chairs so that there's enough seating for everybody who wants to be in that venue?
What can you do, Captain?
I can give it a shot. Well, I mean, the ship is built with many small venues. When everything is flowing the way it's thought, everybody has a seat. There's no problem. But of course, there will be times when everybody wants to do the same thing, and then it doesn't work anymore. That I can agree with you 100%. So it's a little bit like a city when you go and choose your venue or your restaurant. You go and find the available spot, so to say. That I agree with, but that there's folding chairs sometimes and sometimes not, that's a question I will direct to my very good friend.
No, thank you. And yes, exactly what Captain you said. We based on the programmings in the entertainment, we try to anticipate. But yes, there is certain aesthetic aspects of the restaurants and the venues and the public areas which we also have to keep in mind. In terms of, say for example, in the Penrose, I understand there are certain times when we bring in the chairs for certain trivias, which we know have been popular, but sometimes certain areas where we know that, okay, they might be of, that within the vicinity will be able to. Because then also the overall aesthetic part of the ship is also looked into the aspect. But yes, point noted, we can always look into certain things. Yes, theatre is where we can accommodate, but yes, also we look into which programming can be placed either in improv or in the Sid Normans, and based on the same, in the Sid Normans, the basic concept of the place is more of a standing and minimal seating and enjoying the music out there and dancing along. Correct me if I'm wrong, Marcena.
No, that is right, because it always comes up when the question of Sid Normans. Actually, yes. The person who created Sid Normans' Poorhouse pub was very specific when selling us those licenses, that this is supposed to be a little pub, like a hole in the wall, and supposed to overflow. And that is the idea that we need to follow, because that's what we bought rights for it. So if you are African cruising, you remember that the rumors was originally in the pub, and it took us many years to change that licensing, because basically the person who created the concept didn't want to do it, because that was the creative idea, to be close to the performance, not to see them on the stage, but to be able to interact and have that specific and personalized experience with them.
Why do you have to wait in line?
I will get back to you on that one so we can talk about it, because it's a lot of different things that we have to touch base on it. So I think we're gonna right now give a round of applause to our fantastic expert.
Thank you.
Till next time, shipmates.